Good day, Merry Meet. My name is Glennis and I am the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. I want to warmly welcome you to my channel. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. We are working with oils again, and if you joined me on Wednesday, in which I hope that you did, I did a little bit of a reading from Marie Laveau's book, and I want to go over this as quickly as possible, although I don't really want to leave anything out, although I feel like I have to. But we will get to that. But what I was reading from Marie Laveau was someone who came to them that felt like I think that maybe they were having a little bit of bad luck and bad things was happening to, or something like that. And I'm going to go through this bit by bit so that you guys won't miss too much anyway. And I hope that you will consider incorporating it into your, not only your magical life, but your mundane life. Because for me, this is at least at a very minimum a once a month kind of thing. And with Samhain coming up and us maybe dabbling a little bit deeper, then I think a little extra protection is always a good thing. So we're going to start at the beginning. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you again, no, but I am going to take it piece by piece. So she says, first, you will obtain a lucky hand containing a lodestone, black cat bone, and the lucky roots and herbs, including a mojo bean. Well, my mojo beans are here. I have to find, I haven't had a chance, honestly, to find them right now, but I'm sure you guys have already figured out Lucky Hand is basically a mojo bag. Lodestone, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to find bones somewhere. Not necessarily, gather them up yourself, but I'm hoping your botanica or your metaphysical store will carry them. I know mine does. So, and of course, a lot of the things that I do, I gather outside. So, but some of the lucky herbs that she might have been referring to, and again, something different may resonate with you. That's perfectly fine. But what I've gathered together is cloves, cinnamon, basil, allspice, ginger, nutmeg, and thyme. So you might want to consider throwing those in your mojo bag along with a lodestone. And again, if you've got cinnamon and thyme, you're not only going to be bringing in really good luck, you might be bringing in some extra money too. So that's something to think about. The next thing that she mentioned was Master Oil. Master Oil is used to basically present yourself as like the boss, like you were in control. And what is in Master Oil is, I think, what, no, you can't see here, sorry about that, is aniseeds, and this is called Master of the Woods herb. And your metaphysical store, that is how it is going to be, probably, I'm not going to say for sure, labeled. It's called Master of the Woods, but what it is in all actuality is sweet woodruff. And that's found, it's like a low growing ground cover in a forest floor. And of course it's a perennial, and it does flower little tiny white flowers, and it's just beautiful, and it just travels, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the next thing is Masterwort. And again, this is a perennial that probably, I don't really think your metaphysical store will have it. They very well may. If they do have it, let me know because I grow mine, and it is a flower. It is a perennial, and these are dried. And basically, if you want to use almond or sunflower oil with this, and this is your Master Oil. Again, this is to make you large and in charge, so to speak. And the next thing, I believe, she mentioned was oil number 20. Well, oil number 20, many, many moons ago, and I'm talking a long time ago, before my time, is basically a combination of course, your carrier oil. I probably would use almond oil, but again, if you just have olive, that's fine too. Whatever you have is fine. Is a combination of your carrier oil, patchouli, and vanilla. Now this oil number 20, you can use this just like that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with a couple of different things. You can keep it just like that, and it is a very, very simple oil. If you don't have patchouli oil, you can certainly use the herb. Just, grind it a little bit, mix it with, if you have vanilla oil, that's great. If you don't, if you have vanilla bean, scrape those off and mix it in, but you can use that just in and of itself, and that is oil number 20, okay? Now, you just might want to make up, instead of a very small batch, you might want to make up a larger batch of this, because you can use this oil along with your base oil, your carrier oil, and turn this into an oil that you can use, kind of like I did with the salt maybe a week or so ago, where you can make this into different oils for different purposes. And I wrote some notes. If you want to make a money drawing oil, use the base of this and mix in cinnamon. Again, we all know cinnamon, but I would be very, very careful when you mix, especially if you're mixing cinnamon oil with this. Cinnamon can be very, very irritating to your skin, so just be very careful about that. And allspice and thyme, and certainly if you don't necessarily need fresh thyme, but if you've made thyme oil like I did in my herb series, and I hope you did, then you can mix cinnamon, allspice, and thyme in with the vanilla and the patchouli, and there you have a money drawing oil. If you want to do something for love, use, again, just the vanilla and the patchouli, and you can mix in cardamom seeds or rose, and you can use that as a love drawing oil. But maybe for this purpose, if you were moving into a new home or apartment, or someone else's home or apartment, or whatever the situation is, you can use this as a home blessing oil. You can use it just like it is, just like this, patchouli and vanilla, and that's fine too. But if you want to amp it up for a home blessing, you can use basil like I have here, or you may have basil oil, and rosemary. Both of these components, the basil and the rosemary, will bring in levels of peace. So if you're moving in a new home and you're tired, you're feeling a little jangled, the rosemary and the basil will bring about a peaceful feeling with the other combination here. If you want to really, really amp it up, add just a wee bit, just a drop of sandalwood in these components for home blessing oil. And that will make for a peaceful, happy, healthy, sexy home. Okay? Now the next thing she mentioned is divine spray. And I'm saying what she meant by divine spray is like Florida water, to spray Florida water. I have made my own Palo Santo spray. I have made my own sage spray, and I will try and drop that video link below, but something like that is perfectly fine. I very, very often, and I have recommended it to you guys too before, to spray this in the corners of your home when you're doing smudging, a cleansing. Crack your windows open. Of course, depending on where you live, crack those windows open and get your feathers out and smudge your house and spray, anoint the tops of your windows and your door frames and do it like that. And the next thing that she mentioned, and I do have a list here, is Cipriano oil, and that is for Saint Cipriano. Now, I make this oil myself, and I'm sure that there's other people that have made this. I absolutely have this in my shop, but that is not the reason why I am not sharing the recipe here. The reason I'm not sharing it here is because although Marie Laveau has recommended it, and it is a good oil to have, it is controversial how it is made. It is controversial in how it is processed. And the last thing that I want to do is for anyone here to be offended and, you know, to become upset. So I'm going to leave that out. There is animal parts, you know, aspects of it, although it's not, you don't go and you don't start sacrificing insects and animals and things like that. But, you know, I don't know how you practice, but how I practice, if I find, like I found the snake skin, if I'm finding snake skins, if I'm finding cicada, where they crawl out of their shell and their shell is left behind, hornets, a wasp nest, dirt dauber's nest. I'm just simply one of those witches that if I find a dead this, that, or the other, I'm going to absolutely grab that up and I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to process it and I'm going to use it to the very best of my ability. And like I've said before, I would never sacrifice anything. I don't have to. I don't need to. And, you know, whether you do or not, that's fine. That works for you. Now you may say, oh, well, I can live with that. I can live with how you know. But then there's the issue of how this oil is processed. And again, I don't want to take a chance on offending anyone here. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I believe there are some recipes out there for this oil. I can't say that they are the know-all be-all of oils. I know that there are probably a few people, not many, a few people on the internet that sell this oil, and you might look at it and you go, it's priced at what? Well, again, there are very varying components to this oil that, you know, are time consuming. Not necessarily the components themselves, but it takes, I'm not going to say a lifetime, but it takes years of gathering, unless you start sacrificing insects and things like that. And again, I'm not doing that. It takes years of gathering components together. So, but the bottom line is you don't have to use this oil for this to be a happy, healthy, and successful oil. And the last one I believe that she mentioned was Van Van oil. And I think we all know about Van Van oil. You can mix it in your floor wash. You can put it in a spray bottle to wipe your counters and things like that. And I absolutely do that. You can use it, just the oil itself in its purest form, for anointing candles and things like that. But my basic recipe is, if you don't have lemongrass oil, then certainly you can use just lemongrass, vetiver, patchouli, palmarosa, and let's see, citronella. You might want to put a little bit of lemon verbena in that if you want to, although I find with you using the palmarosa oil, that kind of takes care of that. But, and I know that you guys probably know and have done this before, but when you are making your oils, such as components like this where you're putting 2 or 3 together, and I've just lost my thing here. Sorry about that. You have already charged, I hope you have, you've already charged your carrier oils, but you know, you might want to say something when you're adding your components. You can, oh, who's that? You can say something like, I'm adding Master of the Wood herb, or you can say I'm adding the sweet woodruff to embody my spirit, my ancestors, my spirit guides, whoever, you know, ask them to come and to join you in processing this oil. That's what I do. And as I go through my home, again, if I'm using Van Van to wipe the floor, or sage or Palo Santo spray, I ask my deities, my spirit guides, my ancestors to embody and use the energy that I have put forth into growing these things, and to protect me, and to make everything that is not for the good of my home, not for the good of my body, my health, my mind, my spirit, it can all just simply go away. And that is how I do it. Okay? But if you want to substitute, because I know Marie Laveau said something about putting, I believe the St. Cypriano oil all over your body for a little while, and then taking a bath and washing it off. If you want to do just a you know, an herbal cleansing bath, certainly that would be fine too. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I believe next week, as far as my essential oil series is concerned, I believe that I am going to discuss, I was going to say briefly, but that's probably never going to happen, but my thieves oil and some of the ways that I use my thieves oil. And I think thereafter I will be sharing some of the oils and the oil blends that I use to work with the Fae. Now, I hope that you are very, very careful working with the Fae, but I will absolutely share some of my oil blends. And when the time comes and the weather is right and the season is right, and when I feel like everything is right, I hope that everything will line up perfectly, and I will be able to be at the Hollow, and I will call upon the Fae, and I will go through that ritual, and I will absolutely record it to the very best of my ability and share it with you guys at that time. So, you know, hang in there with me, but there is absolutely a proper time and a proper place to work with the Fae, okay? And there's a few tips to go along with there, because the Fae are can be very, very tricky. Merry part, and I absolutely so hope to merry meet again. Goodbye, guys.